Alrighty, I got 3 that look like this, and I got 4 that looks like this, and then this stack that looks like this. And all of them are different, which it really don't matter to me. Alright, now we can start putting them in there on the last row. Alright, let's start getting this last row on. Yes. We're going to even out the colors. Let's see, let's get it back some. And that way, I'm going to be happy. I've worked so hard and long on this thing. And I'll be glad to get it done. Yes. And I'll probably have a bunch of pieces left over. But if I go to do it again, and I'll probably use these so it can be scrappy. Well, I'll lay them there, I reckon. Let's see if I can't get this to lay out better. There we go. Alrighty. I have it laid in 4 first. So here's 1. 2. Oh, gotta look at the bottom of this one. Go this way. And then this way. Make sure on this side we have, okay, opposite. And opposite. Alright, now. 1, 1, 2, and then these right here be the middle. So now I have 3. So we got 1, 2, and 3. Now, then we'll go this away with that one, this away with that one, and we have this one. Yeah. This is turning out so beautiful. Alright, now we start pinning everything down. And yes, I'll be so glad to get this quilt done. I've worked, just imagine what it was like, and like before sewing machines come out, everybody sewed by hand. So if say 4 or 5 women done this, they could probably have just the top done in the first day, you know? That would be still yet a long time on a quilt and all. Especially, you know, like making quilts for somebody that's getting married. They'd make a quilt like this. But I'm just making one because it's pretty. It sure didn't come out the colors I wanted, but you know what? It don't matter. I still think it looks good, and I'm gonna keep on going with it and get her done because it's pretty. I don't know when I'm gonna quilt it, But 9 chances out of 10, I'm going to want to quilt it by hand too, because I quilted this by hand. I want everything done by hand. Even though, there we go. I think we got it. Yikes. Alright, now we're going to go down. Probably ought to go this way with it. And work on it this way. There we go. We got them ready to go. Now all we got to do is quilt these down and then put them on.
Are you still under the delusion that this is the land of the free, home of the brave? Imagine facing life in prison after being assaulted by a drunk cop at this traffic intersection. Check out this crazy story.
A road worker who claimed to me he was assaulted by an angry driver was arrested 1 hour before he was able to tell us his story. It happened in South County, Thursday, September 26th, where road crews are repaving sections of Lindbergh. The incident was here at the corner of Lindbergh and Lee May Ferry, where this left turn lane was coned off, and there was a temporary sign in the middle of the road saying no left turn, because all of the lanes you see highlighted were closed. A safety worker claimed an angry driver pulled into this blocked off portion and assaulted him. But that worker was arrested right before our interview, charged as the aggressor.
I didn't think this road was going to be very bad.
23-year-old Garrett Gibbs was working for a different contractor nearby.
Now, stay tuned about this Garrett Gibbs guy, because while he was one of the workers on the scene, he wasn't arrested at this point yet, because he's obviously free doing this interview. The second thing I want to point out is that there are traffic cameras on all 4 streetlights at this traffic intersection, so we should be able to get the video about what exactly happened during this confrontation.
Watched the argument for probably 10, 15 seconds, and then I noticed that the door was open and the guy was outside of his vehicle. You know, and that's pretty hefty, you know, a guy getting outside of his vehicle in a work zone. You know, it's like somebody coming into your office and causing a problem, you know. He wanted to turn, and he kept saying that he was a police officer so he can make that turn.
Gibbs snapped this picture of the driver's car with a temp tag that appears to have expired a few days prior. Gibbs says the car is inside their work zone. You can see the no left turn sign to the right.
You know, in case this dude does something crazy or drives through the work zone, hits somebody, you know, I've got something.
Gibbs said he tried to calm things down.
The off-duty officer then took a swing at one of the workers, the one I was standing in between, and he missed him and he actually hit me. He caught me right in the mouth here.
He described he and 2 other workers holding the driver until police arrived.
They cuffed him, and then we had to go back to work, but they proceeded to talk to him in our work zone because this happened around 10:30. They kept him inside of our work zone until 3 o'clock whenever we picked it up.
After 4.5 hours waiting in that work zone, Gibbs says St. Louis County Police let the man drive off.
I don't believe he was...
It almost sounds like they kept the cop, his fellow officers, kept this drunk officer in the work zone for 4 hours. Maybe they were giving him water to dilute his system and get him sober before they allowed him to drive away. I'm not saying that is absolutely what happened, but I would not put it past the police to do that to cover for the Thin Blue Line gang buddy.
He was breathalyzed. I don't know if the car was searched or anything, so the officers were informed that we believed he was drunk.
Police say they won't tell us who that off-duty officer was or if he was breathalyzed. Gibbs says he and his co-workers were never questioned. 10 days later, police arrested 2 of them, Matt Devlin and Donnie Hurley. They're now charged with assault, kidnapping, and armed criminal action. The record is sealed. It's as if this case does not exist, despite the fact 2 road workers are now in the St. Louis County Justice Center behind me, facing possibly decades in prison.
Why would the case be sealed? What's going on here? Is this a case of crooked prosecutors and crooked judges looking out for crooked police officers?
Employer for Gibbs and Devlin, NB West, wrote me, "We are deeply concerned about the work zone incident that transpired on the evening of September 26th. In response, we initiated a comprehensive internal investigation to thoroughly understand the circumstances surrounding the events. Our commitment is unwavering to maintain a safe, respectful, and supportive work environment for all employees and the traveling public.
Almost every day it seems like there's a road worker getting killed.
Defendant Matt Devlin's wife, Celeste, thought she would be hearing about the driver.
For violating road construction. There's all kinds of laws that he broke prior to the altercation even happening. You know, he went through all the traffic cones, all the safety devices that these people put up, he went through them.
That's that qualified immunity entitlement mentality that police officers have. Like Breonna Strauss said at Federal Way, I can drive 90 miles an hour. You can't. I can go in that construction zone and endanger safety workers. You can't.
Despite the fact the record is sealed, the defendants still get their day in court. So I came to see the judge who monitors first appearances and learned that defendant Devlin is being held on a $250,000 cash-only bond, defendant Hurley on a $100,000 cash-only bond, and will return here next week when their attorneys will argue for a bond reduction and the court will have to provide more answers.
$250,000 cash-only bond, $100,000 cash-only bond. But wait, there's more.
Police arrest a third road worker today in connection with the work zone assault case we first told you about Wednesday. He is the worker who raised concerns about the arrest of two of his colleagues in an exclusive interview with Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes.
And then I noticed that the door was open and the guy was outside of his vehicle.
Road worker Garrett Gibbs is now locked up on criminal charges that could get him life in prison.
They arrested this guy after he gave the interview. All three are facing life in prison for a drunk cop getting out in an intersection and taking swings at him.
Wednesday, he spoke out about the arrest of his two colleagues for an assault in a work zone here at Lindbergh and Lemay. Gibbs says they were the ones attacked by a man they claimed was an off-duty police officer, insisting on driving through their work zone.
Our equipment was actually on this road right here, so he would have turned into an active work zone with workers standing in the middle of the road. The off-duty officer then took a swing at one of the workers, the one I was standing in between, and he missed him and he actually hit me.
This interview appeared on Fox 2 Wednesday night. At about noon Thursday, police swarmed Gibbs as he was driving his work truck. Gibbs was arrested here on Elm Avenue in Webster Groves, where we counted about 7 undercover police cars. Gibbs' mother said police were also at their fence.
Look, I don't know if you saw this, but up on the tow truck, they got this guy's work truck. Look at this. They're towing the work truck away. The cops swarm like he was involved in some kind of mass shooting or something.
About 7 undercover police cars. Gibbs' mother said police were also at their Fenton family home serving a search warrant. The court records now unsealed with this third arrest.
A search warrant? Wait a second. What was the probable cause to get a search warrant? What was the specific place or the things to be seized in that search warrant? What judge signed off on the search warrant?
St. Louis County Police providing this booking photo of road worker Matthew Devlin, saying he used repeated racial slurs while screaming at the victim, including stupid N-word and go back to the hood with your gold chain.
You know, that's horrible language. I don't endorse that kind of language, but don't we have a First Amendment right to freedom of speech and say whatever we want to in a public place?
Police claiming he struck the victim in the head with a hard hat. Police also providing...
I wonder if he struck him in the head with a hard hat in defense. I don't know what happened here. I haven't seen the video. I haven't seen any evidence. I've seen the testimony of this guy. I've seen the testimony of the other guy. We're going to see the testimony of the police department. We just saw some testimony from the police department. I don't know what actually happened, but I would not put it past that off-duty cop to have been drunk and to get out, get his feelings hurt, and start taking a swing at these guys.
Connie Hurley's booking photo, alleging he and Gibbs held the victim down while Devlin, quote, beat him with a hard hat. Court records say the off-duty officer victim said he was choking at one point, pleading with the workers he could not breathe and that officers interrupted the fight. Gibbs had volunteered to us in our previous interview that Devlin did use a hateful racial slur.
He did say one thing that the officer kept repeating, if I wasn't a cop, I'd beat right now. Matt said to him, well, you're not acting like a cop, you're acting like and it was the hard R.
Devlin's wife.
These guys need to shut the frick up. These guys need to stop talking and stop testifying against their friend. And now the wife is going to get into this.
Also acknowledged it.
I am not super proud of the fact that it was used. You know, I am not, I don't agree with that.
Gibbs maintained none of them are guilty of the assault and kidnapping charges they face. They'll be in court next week.
Okay, so there's one more report. This is 45 seconds long.
3 construction workers are charged after authorities say they assaulted an off-duty St. Louis County police officer. St. Louis County prosecutors have charged these 3 men, Matthew Delvin, Garrett Gibbs, and...
I'll just say this right now. I don't believe the prosecutor. I don't believe the judge. I don't believe the police department. They are all known to lie.
Donnie Hurley Jr. Right now, they are in the St. Louis County Jail. According to St. Louis County Police, the incident happened back in September at South Lindbergh and Lemay Ferry. Police say the area was under construction. The off-duty officer was in plain clothes, driving in an unmarked vehicle, entered an area where the traffic cones were placed. At that time, a verbal exchange ended up happening. Police said they were told by witnesses Devlin used repeated racial slurs toward the off-duty officer, and then things got physical. Additional officers arrived and were able to stop that assault.
All right, well, let's see that body cam footage. I want to see the light pole camera footage. What do you guys think? Is this a case, another case of crooked prosecutors and crooked judges looking out for and covering for crooked cops? Leave your thoughts about this.
7 allegations.
Click that in. Click it.
2 substantiated.
Go in there.
Substantiated.
Oh, 2 substantiated?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I think we found him.
Most recent, 2021. Hold up.
Oh, and that's him.
Oh, and they got the good screenshot?
That's him, my
Oh,
I could not, in good conscience, end the day without bringing this to you right here. I don't think you will ever see a law enforcement officer roasted as thoroughly as these guys roast Officer Perez. Why he's still an officer, I have no idea. This comes from Street Media TV. Says they pulled up a corrupt NYPD detective's record, and this says, and violated him in public. Well, they humiliated him in public, but there was no violation on these men's part. Check this out.
Oh, man, you beat in a woman's face? Or you helped your man do it? Which one was it?
And 7-year-old son boarded at the ATM. Also, she was with her son.
Damn. In front of the kids?
Interesting.
Wow. Domestic terrorists, y'all.
7 allegations.
Click that in. Click it.
2 substantiated.
Go in there.
Substantiated.
Oh, 2 substantiated?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, shit.
I think we found him.
Most recent, 2021. Hold up.
Oh, and that's him.
Oh, and they got the good screenshot?
That's him, my
Oh,
piece.
shit.
Interesting.
We're going to have to...
Jason E. Perez. Now stay tuned because we're going to go over the actual document that they have on their phone in a second.
To upgrade that picture, we're going to use this one right here. We're going to upgrade that.
Oh my God. He almost got like $1 million in lawsuits.
$1 million in lawsuits? Ooh. No, how much
Is
we
that
got
what
there?
we doing? Is that what we doing?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yo, you cost the city a lot of money, boy. No wonder you down here.
No wonder my taxes is fat.
Yo, no wonder this nigga on the subway, detective at the subway. Holy shit. You dirty. You dirty as hell.
Dirty on the low. You didn't get dirty today, you feel me? But
Yo.
usually, you feel me?
Yo, what's the most recent dirt? Because it's not 2021. You here for a reason.
You know
What'd you do recently?
Right? 200.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right.
One situation, $200,000.
We're going to investigate you, boy. We're going to investigate you further.
That's interesting. We got a lawsuit for $200,000. We got sued for $200,000. He did somebody dirty.
$500,000 in lawsuits on your jacket, brother. You should be ashamed of yourself.
A quarter.
No, that's for one of them. That's for one of them.
Oh,
Yeah. It adds up to close to $500,000.
Yeah, almost.
Right, Perez? Right?
Yeah, word. Jacobs.
Yeah, he's cost New York City over $300,000. Imagine if you cost your company $300,000 or even $30,000 or even $3,000. Do you think that company would want to keep you around? Why is the NYPD... Oh, wait a second. We know the answer to the question before we even ask it. Why is the NYPD employing known criminals who've cost the city major amounts in settlement money? It's because they are engaged in active police criminality, just like the Mullen Commission exposed back in 1994. And the Knapp Commission before it exposed back in the 1970s. Thanks, Frank Serpico, by the way.
Sanchez.
That's just a normal citizen, right? F that guy, right?
Great.
Right? F him and his family, right?
And 7-year-old son boarded at the ATM. Also, she was with her son.
Damn.
You didn't
In front of the kids?
Interesting.
Wow. Domestic terrorist, y'all.
The girlfriend.
Jason Perez.
The girl involved too.
That's what.
Was assaulted. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Including, but not limited to, abusing all of their faces.
Oh man, you beat in a woman's face? Or you helped your mans do it? Which one was it? That's your man's. That's your man's.
You remember that went down, or it just totally went away? You just living day by day.
Jackson probably a rookie though.
Nah. You never know.
A dirty rookie.
He built like Chef G. He might just be popping it.
I don't know about you, but I don't feel sorry for Perez in the slightest. So this is Jason E. Perez. I'm getting this from a website called 50-a.org. This is Jason Perez, badge number 7632. Still on the force, by the way. Hispanic male, 36. Detective grade 3 at the Bronx Robbery Squad since June 2022. Also served at Patrol Borough Bronx 46th Precinct. Service started July 2010. Made $147,000 last year. He has sustained allegations, abuse of authority, and other. It says lawsuit settlements. This is what these guys were talking about. $20,000 for this right here. $27,500, $80,000 for this, $225,000 for Felipe versus City of New York. There's 3 complaints, 2 sustained, 7 allegations. Do you think he's not guilty of any of those allegations? 1 closed pending litigation, 2 substantiated, 4 unsubstantiated. Here's the allegations. Physical force against a black male. Allegation, abuse of authority, Hispanic male. Abuse of authority, other, Hispanic male 24. This is for Hispanic male 28. Abuse of authority, threat of arrest, Hispanic male. Look at all the abuse of authority. We'll come back to this in a second. I just want to remind you again of the Mullen Commission, where they were to investigate the corruption in the New York City Police Department. And after all was said and done, the conclusion of the matter of the Mullen Report in July of 1994 was, today's corruption is not the corruption of Knapp Commission days. Corruption then was largely a corruption of accommodation, of criminals and police officers giving and taking bribes, buying and selling protection. Corruption was, back in the Knapp Commission days, in its essence, consensual. Today's corruption is characterized by brutality, theft, abuse of authority like Perez is initiating and is involved in, and active police criminality. And that's the answer to why we still have people on the street like Officer Perez. Detective Perez. Isn't that his? Yeah, that's what it, Detective grade 3 at the Bronx Robbery Squad. I wonder if he's stolen any money that didn't belong to him. Abuse of authority, threat of arrest, Hispanic male 24. Abuse of authority, refusal to obtain medical treatment, black male 35. He's currently named in 7 known lawsuits. Does that imply that he could be named in unknown lawsuits? I wouldn't doubt it. Total settlements equaling $352,500. And here's the complaint description for this right here. Let's just take a look at one of these cases. This is Jacob Sanchez, who's the plaintiff against the City of New York, including police officer Jason Perez. It says the above named defendants are hereby summoned. And here's the case right here. Here's the preliminary statement. This is a civil rights action to recover money damages arising out of defendant's violation of plaintiff's rights as secured by the Civil Rights Act 42 U.S.C. Section 1983. Remember, the defendant is, one of the defendants is Jason Perez, and the plaintiff is Jacob Sanchez. And a violation of the rights secured by the 4th, 5th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution and the common law and the laws of the state of New York. On March 20th, 2013, approximately 11:30 p.m., Plaintiff Jacob Sanchez, while lawfully inside his girlfriend's apartment, was subject to an unlawful seizure, search, detention, false arrest, false imprisonment, and use of excessive force by the individually named defendant police officers. Plaintiff was denied the right to due process and the right to a fair trial in violation of the 5th and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution when the defendant police officers provided the Bronx County District Attorney's Office with falsified, incomplete, and misleading evidence when the defendants provided the DA's office with the facts that gave rise to the arrest. Plaintiff was deprived of his constitutional and common law rights. It's interesting how they said that. When the individual defendants unlawfully seized, searched, detained, falsely arrested, falsely imprisoned, used excessive force against plaintiff, and denied plaintiff a right to a fair trial in violation of the 4th, 5th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution. So this guy right here, Jason Perez, deserves every bit of shame and roasting, public roasting, that anybody could possibly give him. This guy doesn't just need to be fired. He needs to return all of the $147,000 he's earned every single year. His pension needs to be liquidated. His property needs to be liquidated. And he needs to be thrown into jail because he is a danger to people he's supposed to be protecting and serving. And if you disagree with the way they treated this cop in public, I want to hear your comments in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell notification.
Let's give it.
Welcome back to the Disturbing Illusion channel. One of the things that I really hate, and the reason I started this channel, is because politicians are pretenders, and there's no greater pretender. And I'm not just talking about Kamala Harris here. I'm talking about any politician who steps into the role of a rescue or food worker helping the people who are devastated by natural disasters. We're going to play this clip right here. This is Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, handing out food. And I'm going to just mute this mic just a little bit, but it really makes me sick. When all the little people did all the work and set everything up and bore the expense and bore the time so that they can help their community, and then a politician comes in, roll the tape, we've got this, it's all set up for you. All you got to come in here. Let's powder your nose. Let's make sure everything looks good. Make sure the lighting is right. Make sure all the cameras are situated like they're supposed to be so that we can create this photo op to make you look like the caring individual that you aren't. And again, this isn't just about Kamala Harris. This is any politician who steps into this role of pretense. Let me show you also, this right here is, I wrote on my Twitter feed, X feed, that people are so frickin' gullible. I don't know if you remember the old monologue by radio personality Paul Harvey, where he's talking about, if I was the devil, this is what I would do. This is an AI generated Paul Harvey voice, and Donald Trump Jr. is really excited about how good this video is and how good it makes his dad look.
Well, guys, I'm not sure who made this video, but my father posted it for the campaign, and honestly, when you think about it, there may be some truth to this. God definitely made Trump, but maybe he made him for a very, very specific purpose and for a very, very specific time, and that time is now.
Get the puke bucket ready.
And on June 14th, 1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God gave us Trump.
I need a caretaker. What's he going to take care of? Devaluing America's currency by getting with the big pharma industrial complex, the military industrial complex, and the central banking cartel, and continuing to print boatloads of money? Is that the kind of caretaker God made for us?
God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, fix this country, work all day, fight the Marxists, eat supper.
How do you fix the country and fight the Marxists by instituting red flag laws and bump stock bans? Sitting next to Diane Frankenstein saying, I don't know, Mike, I like take the guns first, due process second. How do you do that?
Then go to the Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state. So God made Trump. I need somebody with arms, strong enough to rustle the deep state.
He works so hard for us. He's got the strongest arms. He's lifting us up just like Lady Liberty is lifting up the torch. Donald Trump, he's for us. He's got our six. He knows what to do to make America great again. This is such disgusting propaganda, and you truly have to be checked out and gullible to believe it. If they made something like this about Joe Biden, same thing. I feel like I have to give this disclaimer because people are like, well, if you're against Donald Trump, you must be for Joe Biden. What if I'm against every political sociopath?
Yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to ruffle the feathers.
Has Trump delivered his own grandchild? I hadn't heard that. That's new. Breaking. Donald Trump puts on the old gloves, the neoprene gloves, and he delivers his own grandchild.
Tame cantankerous World Economic Forum. Come home hungry.
He tamed cantankerous World Economic Forum when he's good friends with Klaus. You shall eat the bugs, Schwab. You shall own nothing and be happy, Schwab.
Klaus has done a fantastic job. And again, we're meeting with the biggest companies in the world, the biggest businesses in the world, and world leaders.
Sorry, I know. Well, I don't apologize. This is a commentary channel, and I'm going to make a comment when something is that worthy of ridicule.
Have to wait until the First Lady is done with lunch with friends, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon. And mean it.
You mean the First Lady who doesn't even really want to hold your hand, that First Lady?
So God gave us Trump. I need somebody who can shape an axe, but wield a sword.
And then he shows him with his buddies in Saudi Arabia doing this crazy dance. If you're a friend of Saudi Arabia, do you think you can really be a friend of the United States or the people of the United States? Because the United States government is completely different from the people of the United States. You can love your countrymen, but hate the government who's decimating, economically terrorizing, and sending off to war your fellow countrymen.
Who had the courage to step foot in North Korea, who can make money from the tar of the sand, turn liquid to gold.
And he can lose money so fast that he has to get a loan from the Rothschilds Incorporated banking cartel under Wilbur Ross back in the 1990s when his Taj Mahal experiment, his casino, went underwater, and he had to get a loan from Rothschilds Inc. 25 years later, he makes Rothschilds Inc. employee Wilbur Ross the Commerce Secretary. Let's keep it all in the family over there, shall we?
Who understands the difference between tariffs and inflation, will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon.
The difference between tariffs and inflation? What if tariffs cause inflation? What if tariffs eat away at the product of the value of it, your time and laboring energy? What if tariffs cause prices to go through the roof and make your life more difficult and more expensive?
But then put in another 72 hours. So God made Trump.
Oh, God.
God had to have somebody willing to go into the den of vipers, call out the fake news for their tongues as sharp as a serpent's. The poison of vipers is on their lips.
So he's quoting scripture here, and strong enough to go into the den of vipers. What about strong enough to be one of the vipers as he's entering the den of vipers? And then telling a story about snakes, and then filling instead of draining the swamp with people like Mike Pompeo and John Bolton and Steve Mnuchin and Wilbur Ross and all the other psychopathic swamp puppets.
Yet stop. So God made Trump. God said, I need somebody who will be strong and courageous, who will not be afraid or terrified of the wolves when they attack.
What if he is a wolf in sheep's clothing, saying we're going to build that wall, we are going to protect our borders, and we're going to make Mexico pay for it? And then he's like, you know what we really need is a biometric visa tracking system. It's going to be on sea, on land, in the air. The Visa Biometric Entry and Exit Tracking System. He wants to solidify and firm up the surveillance police state, the Orwellian police state. That's Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
A man who cares for the flock, a shepherd to mankind who won't ever leave nor forsake them.
I mean, people really, really believe this. Let me go to Let me go to a man of memes. This has 361,000 views on it. Whoever made this video, oh, I love this. I love this account right here. Whoever made this video or actually believes this BS is a gullible fool and seriously needs psychiatric help. Frickin' men, finally, there's a voice in the wilderness. Oh my God, this is awesome. Awesome? In what way is it awesome? It's an awesome, putrid pile of lies. Now that is an amazing ad. Hearts. Donald Trump is certainly a mind blower with his extreme dedication to America. His strength is that of Samson. His ability to sit in courtrooms for endless hours and not say anything to defend himself is outstanding. That's how easy it is to buy into and drink deeply from the Kool-Aid and the cult of personality.
And remain strong in faith and know the belief of...
Oh my gosh, who's that? Paula White? I mean, on stage with as many charlatans as you can gather.
God and country. Somebody who's willing to drill, bring back manufacturing and American jobs, farm the lands, secure our borders, build our military.
Build our military-industrial complex. He gave the military-industrial complex like a 10% raise above and beyond what any former president had ever done. And we know that we were warned back in the 1950s and 60s by Eisenhower of the dangers of the military-industrial complex. And yet we still have presidents today, Republican and Democrat, who are constantly feeding the beast.
Fight the system all day and finish a hard week's work by attending church on Sunday. And then his oldest son turns and says,
by attending church on Sunday. That's all it takes. I mean, does he really attend church on Sunday? And if he did, is it a false church? Is it a cult?
Dad, let's make America great again. Dad, let's build back a country to be the envy of the world again.
That's it for this video. I'll make a completely separate video on what's going on in North Carolina, or what I believe is going on, and the reports that we have from people on the ground.